Welcome to Unfiltered. I hope you all had a great Independence Day holiday. Of course, unless you're British, in which case you probably didn't enjoy it at all. It's not a worldwide kind of a holiday. Only a holiday here in America, 4th of July. Sorry I took a week off. And I was gonna lead in with some Facebook stuff because the plaintiff had posted a great comment wanting to hear more about the plastic bag, the banning of the plastic bag stuff. And I went to find the post today and I can't find it anywhere. Anyway, she's upset because she uses those one-time use bags many times. She uses them, she puts trash in them, she recycles them for her trash, she uses them, for trash in her car, like I said I do. She uses those bags when she cleans out her cat litter box, puts dog poop in them. There are numerous things you can do with a plastic bag that eventually you'll throw away. She suggested that if they do ban those type of bags, that there must be some sort of a free replacement. You can't just expect people to, again, it's the Obamacare thing. You can't just tell people they have to buy something. You can't do it. We've got a freedom of choice friggin' country. And that means if we don't want to buy something, we don't have to buy something, anything. I don't buy a gym membership because no matter how healthy you are, you're going to die. It's the facts of life and death. Healthiest guy in the world will die. Don't worry about it. He will. Or she will. See, this whole politically correct crap drives me nuts. He, she. Ships are referred to as she's. A lot of cars, if you're a guy, are referred to as she. It's not that we don't respect women. It's just that we don't want to confuse our language any more than it already is. From what I understand, Chinese is easier than English. Of course, I haven't learned Chinese, so can't be that easy. So anyway, the plastic bag thing, and I've got to tell you, honestly, over the weekend of the 4th, while I was up over on the coast, let me first start by saying, I saw Lenny Clark up there at a place called Jonathan's in Agunquit. And what a beautiful little intimate venue. Lenny Clark was fantastic. What can you say? I laughed for like an hour and a half. And then on Sunday of the holiday weekend, I took a whale watch out of Rye, New Hampshire. Went on the MV Granite State. And honestly, I didn't see any plastic in the ocean. Maybe it's just me. Maybe I was too busy looking for whales. I wasn't looking for plastic bags. But, I'm pretty sure I would have noticed plastic bags if there's as many as there are out there. I didn't see any. Just saying. I think, again, the media drives a lot of false narrative stuff. We're going to talk about that here because, again, it's another week has gone by and we've had more extreme violent acts in our country. I don't get it. People, what the hell is going through your minds? A lot of it is brought on recently. I'm not sure brought on, but at least cheered on and supported by this whole Black Lives Matter movement. which to me is just a reverse racist cause, period. And these people are turning into terrorists. Homegrown American terrorists. We're not going to have to talk about extreme Islamic terrorists. We're going to have to worry about just idiots in America that because of the media, they're all worked up in a lather. This past week, a lot of violence was focused towards the police. Unacceptable. Unacceptable, people. Now listen, I used to hate the police. You know when I used to hate the police? When I was a criminal. That's when every time a cop pulled up behind me, I felt like running. Because I had something to hide. And those are the people that the cops go after. There was Dallas. That's a sniper. Another sniper in Dallas. Wonder where we've heard that before. And apparently Dallas is one of the cities where the police department has been working like 100 times more at community policing and getting to know the neighborhoods and being nice to people and targets. And then I heard someplace else, somebody had called the police to report their car stolen. The cop pulled up in front of his house. As soon as he stepped out of his cruiser, the guy shot him. I'm going to tell you a true fact, people. If the cops wanted all of us dead, all they would do is sit in the police station. They wouldn't be out on the streets. They would just sit back and let us kill each other. And believe me, we would. I know I try and, this show is supposed to make you laugh and everything, but this is a serious goddamn issue. And it makes me sick, and honestly, it makes me happy to know that I am on the downward side of life and that I have less time to go than I've already had. Because personally, I can't wait to get out of this shit. Drives me nuts that people just can't look at other people and see people, for God's sakes. Yes, it's a horrible thing that black people get killed by white cops. It's a horrible thing that black people get killed by black cops. It's a horrible thing when black people get killed by just other black people. But you know something? It's horrible when anybody is violent against anybody. It's not the colors that are horrible. It's the violence that's horrible. That's what it is. It's the violence. And if I was trying to destroy a country as a secret villain, super villain, or whatever, the first thing I would do is convince the general public that the people who are supposed to be protecting them are not protecting them. It's a ploy to get the general public to hate the police. It's a false narrative to take our minds off of the fact that the politicians are raping this country. Smarten up. It seems the more education that people seem to get, the more crazy and nonsensical their beliefs become. It's crazy. All the peaceniks out there, yes, it would be wonderful if we could just hug the world into shape. You know? Coca-Cola tried to use music in the 70s. Remember? They wanted to teach the world to sing in perfect harmony. Well, guess what? Somebody's out of tune. Actually, there are a lot of people out of tune. And it's impossible to get the entire world in harmony because somebody's always going to be out of tune. So, my uneducated, common sense approach to things is just to, why don't we work on what we've got here in the United States? Stop spending billions around the country, around the world, worrying about people dying in other countries and governments treating other countries bad. Well, let's spend our money in our country. Because our government is treating us bad. You get the people to distrust the police. Then you swoop in, you take away all their guns. Because they're using them to shoot the police. So you swoop in, you take all the guns. Guess what? The government, throughout history, back to the BC, the years that are followed by the letters BC. Government has always tried to control and use the people to its advantage, which is to make the fat cats fatter. And that's all they care about. The Romans. Look at go back in history and refresh your memory on the Roman Empire, which, like the United States, they wanted it all. They wanted huge government. They wanted big, beautiful buildings. And sure, they got the people to build them as slaves. They taxed the crap out of them. And all the money went into the government's pockets. The big, wealthy, and powerful. And what happened to the Roman Empire? Oh yeah, it crumbled. There you go. I don't want to leave our children a crumbling country. Let's fix our country. And then worry about the world, Maybe let somebody come to our aid. Why not? Stupid. It's stupid. And the violence has to stop. Like I was saying, it would be nice if we could just hug it all out and the world would be a wonderful, beautiful place. But I don't think that's going to happen. It's up to each and every individual. And whether you can lay all this violence off on, the fact that the mental health care system is crap, but I don't think you can lay it off on just that. There are bigger underlying causes of all this. I think a lot of it is computer access, the instant access that we have to everything. That's got a lot to do with it. The fact that, TV shows and movies and, when I was a kid, we didn't have video games, but video games, they're violent. I played, Cowboys and Indians when I was a kid, and I had the cap guns, and we played, Sergeant Rock, World War II hero, fighting against the Krauts. And that's what we called them back then, because that's what everybody called them. It was a term for our enemy. We had German people living in Keene, but he wasn't one of our enemies. See how that works? Anyway, where the hell was I? I was talking about, all the stuff that I played. They were violent. And yeah, we were bap, 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 bap. You're dead. Ooh, big. But we didn't have splattering blood constantly in our face and heads blowing apart. Hell, you could watch movies all day on Saturday, horror movies, people get killed, but it wasn't really graphic. You could watch, all the westerns and the war movies with hundreds of bullets flying around on the TV screen, and guess what? There were lots of people dying. Nobody was bleeding. We knew that it was just the movies. Again, a common sense thing, These days, people play Grand Theft Auto. They think it's okay to go out and hire a hooker and then beat her up and take her money. Because, hey, it's cool in Grand Theft Auto. So why wouldn't it be cool in real life? It's stupid. And that's what, and we just keep letting it happen. It's not a funny thing. The amount of violence is just going to increase and increase and increase and increase. And the violence is nothing new. The cameras are new. The fact that it seems the more gory, the more violent things are, that's what brings ratings. And boy, we love to watch other people suffer. We love to watch other people suffer. Why? Because it makes us feel better about ourselves. It's not us that are suffering, it's somebody else. And good for them. Stupid. But that's what drives news cycles, and that's what, these news companies, big corporations, mind you, who sell millions and billions of dollars worth of advertising every year because they know that you're going to be glued there watching somebody blow themselves up. There's a reason that wrestling is so damn popular. It's the violence. You watch wrestling to see somebody get hit with a chair or get thrown on a table or, It's dumb. It's dumb. And, back in the old days, granted, we all know that wrestling is just entertainment these days. And it's not like, college or Olympic wrestling, which is actually wrestling. But like the entertainment wrestling, these guys would razor blade their own heads. And the crowd would go wild. Woo, get a little blood on the guy's face, Oh my God, it was like people were seeing the coming of Christ again, Just eating it up and loving it. Why? Because it's pain on somebody else makes us feel better about ourselves. But that's what comedy's about. Old-fashioned comedy makes fun of other people's differences to make us feel better about ourselves. The whole light bulb thing. 100 people screwing a light bulb? Well, I can do that by myself. I'm good. Hey. Makes you feel better about yourself when you make fun of somebody else's misfortunes or shortcomings. Of course it does. And why wouldn't it? We're like selfish beings, all in our, we all want what we want, and the only thing that matters in our mind is what we think, It's dumb anyway. Excuse me. Of course, I coughed right down into my mic. Perfect. I should know better than that. Hey, seeing how today, I knew I was going to spend a lot of time talking about this violence, and I don't know what else I can say about it, other than as a reformed criminal, I stand behind the police, and I believe the police are looking out for us, no matter what Black Lives Matter says, and I'm sure when we start looking at the numbers, you're going to find that everything falls into percentages that match up. If you have, just an example, I haven't looked up any of the numbers, but say, for example, if you have 100 people, and there are 5 crimes in 100 people. Say 3 of them are committed by white guys, and 2 of them are committed by black guys. If you've got, 100 times that many, there's 100 times more criminals. It's just a numbers thing. When there were 3 people in this country, if there ever was just 3 people in this country, things were easy. 2 of them look at the one guy and go, nope, he did it. It's easy. If even in a neighborhood, if you have, a certain neighborhood that has a larger amount of crime in that neighborhood, and we used to have neighborhoods in Keene that have more crime than other neighborhoods, and they're usually the poorer neighborhoods. So now what am I, automatically profiling poor people because they have the most crime? You can't do that. Crime is crime, no matter who commits it. And if you commit a crime, for one thing, there are certain ways to act when you have an interaction with a police officer. For one thing, don't run. One of my arguments back when we were, getting ready to spend billions of dollars on this new jail that we've got up here on Route 101, my take was, why build a new jail? Just give the cops more bullets. Because why should we support criminals for however long they're in jail? They're living on our dime. Just saying. It's not the cops, it's the criminals and the lack of respect for the police. That's what it is. I mean, a cop knows when a guy becomes a police officer, he knows that any time he steps out of his cruiser, or even he could be in his cruiser, he could be killed. It's part of the job. One of the dangers of the job. It's the same for firemen. And yeah, there have been times when people have started fires, and when the fire department shows up, start taking pot shots at the firemen. And again, that's just stupid. These are people that risk their lives every day for the safety of you and I. And like I said, if the cops wanted anybody dead, all they'd do is hide themselves in the police station and never come out. And guess what? We'd do the job just perfectly on our own. That's all I'm saying. So anyway, I knew that I was going to be talking about all this violent stuff and law stuff. And so I pulled up on the fact site, I pulled up some bizarre laws from around the world. And we'll finish up the show with some of these. In Australia, it's illegal to wear hot pink pants after midday on Sunday. You can wear them until noon. Once noon, the pink pants have to come off. I don't know why, but these are laws. There must have been some sort of argument to make these laws. Brazil, the use of handcuffs are prohibited. So I don't know what they use. Maybe just rope, where they tie people up, or maybe they don't worry about it. Canada. Here's a law we should have in America. In Canada, citizens may not relieve themselves or spit in the streets. That's right. Yeah. Some of the places in New York would smell a lot better if we had that law. In Denmark, actually, that's not a really good one. If your vehicle stalls and you leave it on the side of the road, you must mark the vehicle with a red reflecting triangle. I mean, here in America, that's just plain common sense, usually. At least if you're a truck driver. I mean, truck drivers, we carry the red reflective triangles. And yeah, you put them 100 yards behind your van and 50 yards behind your van, and there you go. In Egypt, there you go. In Egypt, no public displays of affection should be shown in Egypt. So if you go to Egypt on your honeymoon, no public displays of affection at all. In France, this is funny, no pig may be addressed as Napoleon by its owner. So in France, you can't name your pig Napoleon. Maybe there was a big run on people naming their pigs Napoleon. Well, that's all I've got for time, really. Here's another good one. In Japan, women must wear bras in air-conditioned rooms. You can kind of understand that one. If you watch on Facebook, share me. Come on, I got to have more shares. And it's easy. Just hit the share button and spread it around. Put it on your friends' timeline. Put it on strangers' timelines. Put it anywhere. If you're on YouTube, hit the subscribe button. You'll get every episode. Till next week, I'm Rick Blood. This is Unfiltered. Peace.